Okay, let's get started. Let me share my screen. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen now? Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So where were we? I think we were at Strangle Straddle, right? Straddle is nothing but same strike price, same expiry, but we are buying both call and put. This is very useful when the price action is very fast to one side or the other. And Strangle is also similar, same strike price but different same expiry but different strike price. Oh, okay. Did you guys get the difference between strangle and straddle? If yes, then let me go to the next one, that is covered call. So covered call is nothing but, let's say if you have shares of 100 multiples. So in this case, let's say if I'm holding Amazon 100 Amazon shares, and I foresee that the stock is going to go down towards the support. Okay. When I know that stock is going to go towards the support, my shares will lose value, right? In order to protect my shares from losing value, what I can do is I can sell an option against my shares, which means that for every 100 shares of Amazon or any stock that I have, I get to sell one option. And if you sell a call option against your shares, then that's called a covered call. And that is why you see here plus 100 shares minus one call option. So call option, which strike price would we want to sell at the time? Typically a little bit out of the money, meaning let's say the current scenario, the stock is at 3200 and we know that stock might go down. Then what we can do to protect our shares is probably sell 3250 calls against our shares, so that when stock goes down, the option price will also go down, thereby keeping our overall value around the same. And that is why we but the reverse scenario for that is when stock goes up, the stocks would get sold on the expiration day for this particular strike price that you sold. But an alternative for that would be you can roll this sell option to the next expiry and collect more credit. And on the day of expiration, if the strike price is not met, you get to keep that premium, and your shares will also be with you. But when you are selling option, the risk of your shares being sold even before the expiration would also be there. So yeah, there is a trade-off, because you collect premium, but if the person who purchased this option, the call, he may exercise it into his shares, into his or her shares, even before expiration. So it's not really under our control of when the shares will get sold at this particular strike price. So, but at least it can act as a hedge for the shares that you have on your account. If you don't want your shares to be sold at this particular strike price, then you may not want to do the covered call. But it is very useful strategy to protect your shares, uh, so that they don't lose value when share starts to drop. Any question on the covered call so far? So this is also a very good income generation strategy. Why? Is because you can sell a strike price that stock may not even go to. Let's say if I have 100 shares of this Amazon and I know that Amazon does not go to like 3400 or 3450 in few days, right? So what I do, I sell an option for that particular strike price. Yeah, no additional collateral. That is correct. So usually when you want to sell an option, there is usually collateral required, meaning you need to have a certain amount of cash in your account to be able to sell an option. But when you have shares of equivalent amount, which is 100 multiples of a given stock, then you can do covered call without any additional collateral, meaning it does not require you to have any additional cash on your account to sell an option. That's another added benefit. Okay, any questions so far on a covered call, on how we can use it in these volatile times when stock starts to drop? You can do covered calls on only 100 multiples. If you have only like 20 or 30 shares, you cannot do covered call. Is that clear? Hello? Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds good for me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So covered call is over. The next strategy is a combo. So combo, as you could see here, we are buying a call and we are selling a put. Then you might be wondering, oh, why am I doing that? The reason why you're selling a put, usually when you're selling a put, meaning you are bullish on a stock. Let me explain from the chart. Let's say, for example, you have a better understand. You have an understanding that stock should move up for so and so reason. Let's say indexes are going to bounce, and you think that stock will start to bounce too. Then what you can do is you can sell a put, meaning let's start buying a call. So since the stock is going to go up, so calls would appreciate. And you can also sell a put, meaning let's say if you are bullish on a particular stock and it's going to go up, if you have a conviction that it's going to go up, you buy calls for a particular strike price and particular expiry. And when you pair it with selling a put for the same expiry and also same strike price, essentially what you are doing is collecting a premium from the put side. So puts usually will lose value when stock starts to go up, right? So the puts will lose value and your call will also appreciate. And that's called a call combo, where you are buying a call for a given strike price and you are selling a put for the same strike price. Let's say for Amazon, so for this particular strategy, it comes really, really useful for a non-volatile stock. Reason being, let's say for example, AMD. Let me show you the chart of AMD. So AMD, as you could see here, it has a lot of sideways movement, isn't it? The chart, it's stuck for almost a year. Almost a year, it is sitting in the same tight range, right? So for this kind of stocks, the combo would comes really juicy. Let me tell you why. Okay, let's say it is constantly bouncing off this support level, right? So when it comes to this support level, you set an alert, and when the price hits that particular level, you would be alerted. Then what you can do is, since we know it has higher chances of bouncing, we can play a call combo. What it means is, let's say for example we are in this time period around October, right? So when we are around this time frame and we know it's going to bounce, what you can do is probably take a few months out, since it's sideways moving stock. For a few months out, the premium would be a little expensive, but if you sell a put and also buy a call for the same strike price, it would turn out to be in cents. I kid you not, it will be around cents. Let's take for the same example. Right now we are around this, right, around the same price level again. Now let's try to create a call combo for maybe a few months out. Okay, let me check that, and you'll be surprised. Oh, is it that cheap? That's how it will be. Okay. Let's few months out is about, let's say, August. Okay. Let's go with August. And then I'm going to right click on the call side and say buy call combo. Where is call combo? Yeah, here. Okay. And as you can see here, you're selling a put and also buying a call for 77.5 strike price, which is like near the money. Stock closed at 77.17, and guess how much you're paying? You're actually not paying. You're getting a credit of 22 cents. So when stock starts to bounce and starts going up, the call would appreciate, and also the put will deteriorate. So we are collecting money from both sides, and so this would become 2 times to like 3-4 times very easily when stock starts to bounce. Did you guys get what I'm saying?
Can I see the risk graph on this?
Yeah, sure. Let me right click on this trade. And
So I'm assuming they would do this, you would do this when the put side IV is higher, right? I'm just guessing, because that's when you get credit, because both are the same stock.
Yeah, correct. So the sell premium is expensive than the call premium. That's why you're getting a net credit. But I'm not sure of collateral for this.
Yeah, there must be a margin then, right? So,
yeah, there must be some margin. Let me see how much is the collateral. Like if I try to place this order, then it will show me how much is the buying power effect. So buying power effect is about $2,100, which is not bad. So if you wanted to buy 100 shares of AMD, that will cost you $7,700. But your current buying power effect is only 1/3 of it. Plus, if you're bullish on a stock, this credit will become like 3-4 times in when stock starts to bounce from that level, because puts will depreciate and calls will appreciate, and that too you have like August expiry. You have time in your hand, and so you have many odds in your favor to have the trade work for you. So you wanted to see the P&L curve, right? Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, I think that will help me understand this.
Yeah, sure. So the P&L curve, your break even is about 77.26 because you're getting a credit. So if stock stays the same, you will still be having a credit of about 22 cents on the day of expiration. But when stock starts to move up, see the P&L curve is going straight up, meaning you keep gaining as the stock goes up.
Yeah. So but this is unlimited loss. I mean, the loss can be 77 then, right?
If stock starts to go down, then the put will appreciate and the call will lose value. So that's why you were saying that loss will keep increasing when stock goes down.
Yeah, let's say the stock goes to zero, right? Then your risk is $77. So the max loss is 77, basically.
No, max loss would be based on the price of the stock at that time.
Yeah. I mean, max loss is when stock goes to zero, right? Then the max loss is 77.
Not 77. It's actually a lot more because the put option will be increasing in value at that time, right?
Yeah, but max it can go is zero. So
$77 per share. So that would be 7,700 if this goes to zero. That would be the max.
Yeah, sorry, 77. I meant the option price. So yeah, so it was 7,700 is the risk you have.
Yeah, but that's why this is a pretty directional trade.
Yeah.
And, instead of buying a call, you can buy a combo because you are collecting premium from the put side, and also calls will appreciate. This comes very handy for a low volatile stock like an AMD.
Yeah.
It will become 3-4 times when the price moves from here to here. 3-4 times.
I mean, I've seen everything else. I never saw this one. That's why
Yeah.
I'm asking
For
question.
this particular price movement, the call combo would have been at least 5 times, at least 5 times, because you see, 77 from 73 to 83 is about $10 of price movement, right? So the puts will be down easy 80% for this $10 move, and the calls would be easily 3-4 times. So overall, you would end up with about 5 to 10 times of return
Yeah.
for a call combo. Okay.
Mhm.
Great. Let's go back to Amazon. Okay. Any other questions on call combo? If none, let's go to the butterfly. So butterfly is very useful strategy to grow small accounts. The reason being the net debit that you pay for these butterflies would be substantially lower than calls. Let's say, for example, when we are when we are bullish on a stock, let's say from here 3200, we know that it's gonna, let's say if we know that the price is gonna go up around 3500, we can frame a butterfly around 3500, which means like you you sell that particular strike price 2 times and you buy, let me activate this one sec. It's essentially like it's essentially like 2 times you sell the center leg and you buy. Okay. Yeah, think of it like this. You sell the center leg 2 times and you buy this first leg, and then you buy farther out leg. That's called a butterfly. And let me show you in the form of the trade on how it looks like for a butterfly. And this is a call butterfly, and that's why you have the center leg you are selling 2 times, as you can see here. 3470 you are selling 2 times, and you are buying 3465 call. So this is a $5 wide butterfly with the center leg. The difference from the center leg to the first leg is $5, right? So, and same is the difference from the center leg to the next leg, 3475. The difference is $5. So this is called a $5 wide call butterfly. You can of course increase the width, and the cost of the trade would definitely increase. Let's say if I'm choosing $20 wide butterfly or $30 wide butterfly, the cost of the butterfly would go up accordingly. You guys get what I'm saying? Let me show you the difference. Call butterflies 34, 40, 70. So if I'm making a $30 wide butterfly, that would be 40, 70, and then 3500, right? Ouch. Okay, you guys get what I'm saying? Do you guys get an understanding of what a butterfly trade is? So this is how much? $30 wide butterfly, and the debit you're paying for that butterfly is only 95 cents. It's like one risk to reward is 1:30, because your net cost is only 95 cents and your max reward is $30, meaning if the price settles at 3470 on the day of expiration, you would make the difference of the first leg and the center leg, which is about $30. The drawback about butterfly is that the this option would not appreciate as fast as calls or call debit spreads, because you have these sell legs in the middle that will keep draining the profit of the overall trade. And so you will get maximum benefit only if expiry is very soon, not when it's expiring like few months out. It will not appreciate as fast as that. But overall, your net debit would be substantially lower than naked calls or covered calls or whatever that other strategy is. and you will still be in the game with these butterflies. So they would just see the risk to reward. It's insane, isn't it? You are risking $1 to make $29. So very useful strategy to grow small accounts. Yeah, I really like this one because I did use several times. So you can take weekly expiry also for this butterflies. Not necessarily that you need to go 1 month out, but it's sort of like a very useful to grow small amounts into big amounts because it's very small and also the reward is also huge.
So do you pick strikes based on the option chain, open interest, or do you have some?
I typically go by chart first because let's say for example, if we know some price is going to bounce from here, I would target for the next resistance, meaning price usually tends to move from level to level. So I tend to frame my butterfly based on where it is headed to the next, where it's headed next.
Okay, so next resistance level, and then maybe a week out is what you try.
The strike price would be the next target. Like this, I would try to frame it in a way that the center leg, which we are selling 2 times, would be the actual target level, because that's when we get the maximum benefit. And expiry, as I mentioned, that the butterflies would appreciate only if it's expiring soon.
Correct.
It does appreciate for further expiry also, but not as fast as what you expect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we mostly do earning butterfly or like a lotto or something like that, I guess, right?
Not necessarily. If a direction is known to one side, you can play these butterflies, and they will be pretty useful. And mostly, like for earnings, if the direction is unknown, and if we are in between the support and resistance, I would play an iron butterfly. Iron butterfly is okay. Let me go to iron condor first. Okay. Any questions on butterfly so far? If none, let me go to the next one, which is a condor. Condor is nothing but it's a combination of call vertical and a put credit. Oh my bad. This is call condor, which means that let me see. What? Sorry. Okay. So call condor is nothing but, let's say if price, if you know that the price is gonna go from 3,200 to 3,500 next, and settle in between a certain price level. Let me activate this guy. Okay. Okay. Let's say the price is going to move from here and then tries to settle over here at 34.70. You still have a buffer room of the price to move in between these two levels. So this strategy is called a call condor, which means that you are bullish on the stock, and what you're doing is you are collecting credit from these two legs, and you're collecting credit from these two legs, and you're paying debit for these two legs. It's essentially like butterfly itself, with but the center legs split into two legs. You got what I'm saying? It's like call butterfly, but the center leg is split into different strike prices. Let me show you in the in this trade here. So you are buying 34.65 and then you are selling 34.70, and so this is like a call vertical, call debit spread that we initially covered. And then the next one is you are selling 34.75 and you are buying 34.80 call. So this is like a $5 call condor. So if price settles in between 34.70 and 34.75, you get to keep the premium from this particular two legs. and then this call debit spread will be appreciating for the full credit, meaning the difference of the strike price is $5. So $5 would be the maximum gain if price settles in between the 34.70 and 34.75. But for this overall trade, you are paying only net debit of 3 cents. It's very cheap, as you can see, just paying 3 cents. And this, but this would require some collateral because you are selling a spread here, which is far out of the money. But if price stays in between 34.70 and 75, you would get the maximum benefit. Just like butterfly itself, exactly same as butterfly, but with the center leg slightly apart. You guys got what I mean? Did you guys get what I mean? It's sort of like butterfly itself, but the center leg is slightly moved apart, and you have a little buffer room for the price to settle. This is again very directional trade, but defined risk. And again, the strike prices could be changed according to the situation, and also the width, like the difference of strike prices could also be changed, and thereby your risk also will change. Did you guys get what call condor stands for? Any questions on this? Okay, if none, let me go to the next one, which is iron condor. So iron condor is nothing but a combination of call credit and a put credit. Let me show you. Okay. Okay. Here, let's say if we are confident that the price, Amazon price would settle within this range, then what we can do is we can collect credit from the call side and also put side. It's a combination of call credit spread and a put credit spread. And that's why the name iron condor, meaning it will stay in a fixed price range. And you can do that. You can do this when only when you know the price if it settles in between certain strike prices. It's like sort of like a risk-free money if you choose far out of the strike price, and you can keep collecting credit for monthly expiry or even weekly expiry. But you need to know where the price is gonna stay. And the reason why you get the credit if you sell a sooner expiry is because let's say the price is around 3200 right now, and for sure this 34 or let's say 3500 round figure, if you sell this option and you buy the farther out, definitely you will get a credit, net credit. This is again ending in 10 minutes. Okay, I think we are almost done covering all the strategies. There are a couple of more. I think we should be done in 10 minutes. So let me go back to the trade again. So the iron condor, as you could see, it's a combination of call credit spread and a put credit spread. As you can see here, call. So I'm selling. Wait a second. This does not seem like a iron condor. You should be selling 34.70, and then you should be buying 34.75. That's called an iron condor.
Yeah, iron condor should be within the range.
Yeah, within a certain range. So the put side, you are selling a sooner expiry put. Sorry, sooner strike price. Then Okay. Yeah, so as you can see here, I'm buying 34,775 and selling 3470 call, which is same like I sell the sooner strike price, then buy the farther out on the call side. And similarly, I do that on the put side, like where I sell the sooner strike price compared to the current one, and then I buy the farther out. That's what I have framed here. Like I buy the farther out, then I sell -1 this sooner strike price from compared to the current strike price, and thereby resulting in a credit. And the credit varies depending on the legs, like how much difference you would choose between these legs. Accordingly, the credit will change. So when you place this iron condor trade, you would usually be ending up with a credit, not $4.75 for this $5. It usually be almost half or 75% of this difference between strike prices. So currently, this is $5 wide iron condor. Yeah, but this is one strategy where you definitely know the price would settle in between certain price levels. Okay, any questions so far on the iron condor? Okay, if none, let me go to the next one, the vertical roll. So vertical roll is nothing but, let's say you sold a call for this particular strike price in a call diagonal, right? In a call diagonal or call calendar, let's say. Let me show you a call calendar one more time. Call calendar. So in this call calendar option, what you're doing is you are buying farther out. Let's say, for example, June 18th expiry, you are buying 3470 call, and against that option, you are selling a sooner expiry option for the same strike price. So you would not need any collateral to do that. So if you, and let's say that expiry time comes and this June 4th is almost going in the money or already in the money. So what you can do is you can buy this back and sell for the next one. That's called a roll. That's what is shown on the roll trade here. You're basically rolling what you have for this week for the next week. So this is a little bit, it is shown as a vertical roll for the spread. If you do it for just one leg, that's called rolling. But if you do the rolling for one whole spread, then it's called a vertical roll. So as you can see here, the same strike prices, but the expiries are changing. The expiries are changing from June 11th to June 18th. That's called a vertical roll. And then a collar. Collar is like, I like collar. It's like a covered call plus a call. Let's say you have some shares and you know that stock may not, the stock may go down. So what you can do is you do a covered call, meaning you, for every 100 shares, you can sell an option, the call option against it. And then you buy another call just so that if it goes up, so the covered call will lose value, but the additional call that you bought, that will appreciate. And as you can see here, in the call, you're selling, in the covered call, you're selling 3470. Then you're, oh wait, so this is a collar, but for, my bad, it's for the put that you buy additional one. Let's say you know that stock is going to go down, right? For example, let's say if the stock goes down, the covered call will protect the money. But then if you buy additional put on top of it, so that will be protecting your initial shares, plus also getting premium from the puts when the puts appreciate. But I told that it was calls, but it's actually put, as you could see here. So against 100 shares of Amazon, you are doing a covered call. meaning you are selling a call option, and then you're also buying a put for the same strike price. This is not very useful for a big value stock, meaning the premium would be very expensive. That's why I wouldn't recommend, but if it is a small stock, I would recommend the strategy. It's called a call collar. And a double diagonal, it's same as diagonal, but you make it as a spread. Instead of doing just one leg buy, one leg sell, you are doing it as a spread. That's called a double diagonal. As you can see here, so I'm buying farther out strike price, different strike prices, but farther out, and then I'm selling same strike prices, sorry, different strike prices, but sooner expiry. It's just a mix and match of things that you end up in this double diagonal.
Same path, you have someone in the waiting room?
Oh, let me see who that's. Raghu. Okay. I think the meeting is about to end because of this time slot. I'm sorry, guys, I don't have a premium account, but essentially this double diagonal is nothing but a combination of a diagonal, but for if you add one more leg, like sell one more leg of sooner expiry and one more leg of further expiry, that's called a double diagonal. And this one that I have compiled here, it's just different combinations. And then I think we would be done in 2 minutes. I'm not sure if you guys have any questions so far. I think this butterfly I've already covered, but this particular butterfly that I have compiled in the very end, it's called a broken wing butterfly. What this trade is nothing but you are selling the center leg 3 times. So when you are more confident that the price will not go beyond your center leg in the butterfly, you can do additional selling of that particular center leg. As you can see here, I'm selling 3 times. So in the butterfly, usually it's only 2 times, but if you do 3 times and you buy one more farther out, it's like a combination of call credit spread and also a butterfly. So it's a combination of call credit spread and also a butterfly. Yeah, it's called an unbalanced butterfly. Some call it unbalanced butterfly and some call it broken wing butterfly. Yeah. Any questions so far?
Hey, Sampath, this is Raghu here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man, I just got in and I know it's a wrong time to join, but anyway, if nobody has covered, I want to understand one thing. There are actually 4 types of butterflies and 4 types of iron condor. Is that right? Right? So
4 types. What
yes,
is a 4 types?
I'll tell you. One is like call, like, okay, the way it's like a credit spread, debit spread on call side, again, credit spread and debit spread on the put side. That's what I meant by 4 types. You know what I mean? Like, to categorize in a different way, let me rephrase. Let's say you have 3 legs in the butterfly. The center leg is actually, you can go short or you can go long, depending on whether the other outer legs are the opposite of what you have the inner leg, inner center leg, right? Say, for example, you go for 10